feels like this. It's a moment when I pull up, they see the wheel. Wheels keep rolling, Ray-Bans up, they flash from pics. Get to know her, that bitch standing up on a hill. I think she knows we bout to blow. Sun don't shine at this party. One by one, we all turn into a zombie. Man, the sun don't shine at this party. One by one, we all turn.
Bulls Radio Lounge. That's right, my friends of the channel. It is time for another fantastic show, a brand new show called Grizzled Rants. It's starring the one, the only, the authority, Eddie Torres, and one, if you want to call him the sidekick or the bounce off of guy, the man of knowledge of WWF and all wrestling, the Belly. If our satellites align for my 25-foot bunker, let's see if we can connect. Guys, you there? Hello.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right. Yeah, we're all connected. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's good. That's good. It's glad to have you guys here. It's glad to have Mr. Eddie Torres, the authority, live. This is going to be your show, my friend. This is going to be your baby.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to start some trouble.
I'm excited. I've used to watch wrestling, and I haven't watched wrestling in a number of years. But I'm real excited to hear, how you and Belly sort of chit-chatted up, with this show and kind of build your audience of wrestling fans among us, both young and old. Yeah, no, maybe.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, I think it's one of those things, like this whole concept is just for me to bring up the fact of 20 years in the business that I've been a part of the wrestling community. And I got a good reputation about being bitter, and I've been called Grizzled many times. So I'm like, you know what? I think I go off on rants. Grizzled Rant makes sense for me to kind of gap up the stories, history that I've got to learn from a lot of veterans, but also my interpretation on how things are, seen in the scene,
Yeah, I got you. It's the backstage tour of what you would call, wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Stuff that you wouldn't get, anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Just from right here.
Yeah, right
you know
here.
What I mean? Right here.
We're gonna do.
Bulls Radio Lounge. That's where it's at. Just go to youtube.com, search Bulls Radio Lounge, and you'll find it right here. Grizzled Rants with Belly as well. So by all means, my friend, go forth. Go, travel the mountains. Go conquer Everest. Do what you do. Say what you want to say. And, this is your show. This is your baby. And I'm giving you the key to open the door and get this thing going.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Do your thing.
Billy, you ready?
I'm ready, man.
I'm ready too. All right.
Let's talk that shit.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, this is how I look at it. I want to appreciate everybody. Appreciate Bull and Bulls Radio Lounge for giving me the opportunity to come up here. But it's kind of out of character, Belly, man. I mean, we've just met each other recently, and as the authority, I tend to kind of like live my gimmick per se.
Keep it
so I go off. So I'm just, if you're one of those guys that or like me, just like to speak the truth and just go off no matter what. Hey, we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, man. I'm just gonna say whatever comes to mind, whatever my opinion is. I'm coming through the lenses of a fan. So I go by what I see when I go view the product and watch the product, and you have that behind the scenes professional take on it. So I like to see what happens with this.
All right. All right. Well, let's get into it then. Again, thank everybody who's going to be listening in. I mean, I took this concept, just a little backtrack on my journey here, in presenting my concept to to Bulls Radio Lounge. Is the basic idea is I go off on Facebook. The current wrestling scene tends to tell me that I tend to be very opinionated. I like to speak my mind. I like to, basically start shit. But it's usually perspective from being passionate about the wrestling business. Cause I mean, I've been doing it I'm going on 20 years this October. And, that has been without its work, its dues earned. That's, we say in the business, and still working and still paying my dues even at 39 years old, so a lot of people are receptive to it. A lot of people have a way of, in my world, tend to have a criticism about it. But the good thing about it is that I don't give a shit. I speak my mind because it's well earned and experience,
Yeah, definitely. Now, for our listeners that may not be familiar with professional wrestling and all that goes into it, do you want to give a little bit of your background, how you got started, who trained you, any little thing that might give them a little bit of knowledge to your background?
Yeah, of course. I would. Well, I was trained by Steve Kern at the School of Hard Knocks, and Jimmy Del Rey, jumping Jimmy Del Rey, and when I got into the scene, I was kind of partially trained, but I didn't get my full training until I got the opportunity to work with Steve Kern. Which, if you don't know who Steve Kern is, he was one half the Fabulous Ones. He was also Skinner in WWE back in the day. And of course, if you don't know who jumping Jimmy Del Rey is, please look him up. He's one of the best of all time. God bless his soul. But I got the opportunity to get strong training at the time. Prior to that, I was, earning my way up the scene when I debuted it in good old Zephyr Hills in October of 2001. And kind of been riding the independent scene off and on from there, traveling, Southeast, and got opportunities to do some stuff with FCW when they're around here, extra work, what they call glorified jobbers, and stuff like that when you're in Tampa. Tried out for TNA, tried out for a lot of different places. I got to work a lot of legends over the course of my time in the business. As of recently, my partner Damian Angel and I, State Line, we did some NXT stuff about 2.5, 3 years ago. Extra work. Yeah, we got to do some stuff. One of our matches is on the network. If you want to be that guy, it's on there. You won't see the name, but it'll be under a name called, they messed up our name, and that'll be a story for another time. But we were on there against Heavy Machinery, so that was fun.
Okay.
And then as of recently, of last September, I got an AEW dark match against Sean Spears.
Yeah.
And that's on YouTube as well. But I primarily stay strong in the independent scene. I'm a father, first and foremost. I also am a first responder. I work in the field. But wrestling has become I won't say part-time job, because I put a lot of time and effort into it outside of my other, ordeals. But I'm passionate about the business, and my passion tends to comes off like anger, and that's fine.
Keeping the kayfabe, baby.
Yeah, brother. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta be what it is. I tell people all the time, if you don't like to be told the honest truth about what you're doing wrong in the business, then you're doing it wrong. And that's the biggest thing, is that we live in the scene today, and that tends to want to be constantly glorified on social media, which is probably the first topic I want to go into.
What about social media?
Yeah, go ahead.
About social media now in the wrestling product with the pandemic and independent scene, it seems like a lot of the criticism comes from those on social media. So, and I saw that you wanted to talk about that. So what exactly about social media?
my problem with social media in the current, when I came up the scene, obviously those before me, there was no social media. I came up AOL. I'm gonna sound like that old guy, but fine. AOL, Messenger, MySpace. So the only way you could promote yourself and get around was to show up to shows and hope you get a spot on the show. That's how you do it in the indie scene and in territories and stuff like that. But now social media is giving everyone an opportunity to self-promote, which is a good thing, right? Great things.
Right.
Promote yourself, make your own videos, all this good stuff. But as you see, people use Twitter, Instagram, whatever to pander for acceptance. Like
likes.
like they just and the productivity is not there. I watch a lot of matches. I watch a lot of indie wrestling specifically. I will tell you right now, I'm going to start watching more AEW, NXT stuff because now I have this show because I want to have some references. But my history is very backwards. I watch things that are relevant to what I do and
Right.
mostly independent work, independent wrestling in the state, especially in Florida because this is where I'm, obviously, hang my hat at. But like social media, it's where the social media clout. It's a clout finders. Those people, young guys that come up the scene looking to strive up to get opportunities in AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, WWE, so forth.
When you say young guys, do you mean like the guys fresh out of school? Did they not go to school? Are they like in their early 20s kind of a deal that grew up with the social media?
It ranges on a lot of the guys that tend to go to get trained in proper schools and in the Florida, and there's a lot of, there's plenty of good schools, but they leave the womb per se, and they just run around. They just run around basically, as I call, begging for spots. And I mean that young guys, but mostly young guys is general, like young guys. Mostly sometimes in the reference of wrestling, young guys mean guys younger than us, myself,
I got you.
So it could be guys from first year in to guys 10 year in. So we have a reference that we get to say in the scene, because this is what I'm going to do, is we call those guys 10-year vets. These are 10-year veterans of the business because they think they know it all. And they've never really done anything outside of their own like zip code sometimes, and
Gotcha.
it doesn't give them the clarity that they supposed to get. So social media has what I've seen in social media is that they've jumped on the bandwagon of pandering to each other's hype, like, oh man, this guy had a great match. So, this is the likes. And, but when you watch the match, I ain't gonna lie to you, I think it's horrible. I always look at it, if you're going to put a match together, is it TV worthy? Like, will WWE pick it up? You know what I mean?
Now, when you say it's horrible, what aspect of it is it? They just aren't seasoned. The match, the moves that suck. It's just a spot fest. There's no storytelling.
That's there you go. It's the last part, storytelling. Okay. That's I tell people all the time, and I get the opportunity to work and talk with a lot of established workers and people that have been around a long time, and those who just started. And I don't try to be a straight ask about my opinion, but I'm very direct. I tell people I'm going to be very direct because I expect it back. But the psychology of wrestling is one of the lost things. Like, I think one of the things you could pay attention to, like if you watch a reference like a Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect match, if you go back to that, even though that was the like 90s and late 80s, 90s, but those guys were having great matches, and you could tell the story. You could tell the who was out, the clear cut bad guy and who was the clear cut good guy, right? So now you have an understanding of what's going to happen here, and then you see the dynamic of chopping down that tree until it falls. But then the big superhero comes back up. The Hogan comes up and fights back, and you can have a great match, and have spots because that's a thing wrestling transcends. But the storytelling and psychology of wrestling is literally like transparent in the scene, and you can even see when you look up. You see in the bigger promotions, those guys will get called up. You could tell.
Yeah, I mean, and also coming from a fan's point of view, even the big mainstream too, AEW and WWE, they try to cater now, even with their lack of storytelling, in my opinion, to the TikTok audience. It's got to be a minute or less to get their attention for them to come back, and they want it like an immediate payoff. And I think social media plays a role in that kind of a thing. And I just like to know, like a wrestler when they're looking for that, that quick fix. They're just looking to get that clip, what you're saying, of them doing a spot, and not doing like footwork and psychology and stuff like that. Is that where you're going with that? Is there
That's
anyone in
exactly.
particular that you want to mention about that?
As far as like in the scene right now,
Yeah.
not necessarily. I'm gonna wait for that.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna tease it a little bit.
yeah, I'm gonna tease a little bit. I like to when I'm on Facebook, I like to vague book. I like to do these general comments where it's kind of reference to everybody, and then you eventually see some guys commented on there like, or message me like, hey, was that toward me? Well, if the shoe fits.
Yeah,
What I mean?
if you're thinking it's about you, it's probably
It's
about you.
definitely about, yeah. If I see someone post something like, hey, saw some big husky looking white bald guy running around with his pants off, and I post, oh, is that talking about me? Then I did it. You know what I mean? That was me. So
guilty.
like it's kind of hard to. The reference ain't the best, but it's kind of in the same lines of guy. If the shoe fits, the shoe fits. Just accept that.
So if you're in Eddie's DMs, yeah, it's about you.
It's about you, 100%. I won't say it to you because, it's one of those situations where we tread that fine line of when social media now plays a big part into the wrestling, because it does, and WWE does it. With the Thunderdome, you saw how they interact with them. You see it also in AEW, and how a lot of the talent panders to Twitter as far as like posting, and they're feuding against each other on Twitter, and and I get it. We live in that social media age, but maybe I'm the one that's stuck in the dark ages, but I like to believe that if I'm going to a place, let's say a town, and I'm going there to be a heel, I'm a bad guy, I'm that bad guy 24/7. The moment I am in the vicinity of any fan watching me, even at a Dollar General, you know what I'm saying? And, because you never know who's going to see you. And that's when I grew up, when guys had separate locker rooms, and there are certain things like social media tries to, like, I feel cancel the old style of wrestling, and this starts really in the locker rooms, because it's everyone's afraid to be the bad guy. Like, legit, they think they're going to be the bad guy by being a true to life heel, or if you're a babyface, you still got to be the Stone Cold babyface. You can't just be a clear cut, vanilla babyface where
it does seem that that's not well received anymore.
No, but I think it is, and you know why it isn't received, to my opinion, and in my view, is because people tend to want to always put themselves over. Basically, they want to be the good guy, but they also want to do the bad guy stuff. You know what I mean? They always want.
They want to be the cool good guy.
Yeah. If you I just watched Stone Cold Steve Austin's documentary on A&E, right? And he was talking about this, because I like to watch the Attitude Era. Those guys, they pick moments. The intensity level was ridiculous. He had intensity. You knew he was the guy to get the job done, right? You knew no matter what he did, he was gonna beat The Rock. He was gonna beat Triple H. But he knew. Even they said he was not gonna ever elevate his game if he didn't have a Triple H or a Rock, or those kind of characters to build off of. And I think people lose that aspect of themselves, realizing this is what they're supposed to do. You can have a tremendous match, but stay in your lane. It's okay to be that guy. Because then the whole match, they're going to remember that more than, that was a fun match. They did a cool spot,
Right. Yeah. So, even with Stone Cold, going back to your point about him, he was huge back then. He's still huge now. He gets bigger pops than most guys do now. Yeah. But even the turn of his character, it was a slow burn. He was the asshole bad guy, and it was a slow burn. Then he had that match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. That was the turn, and he kept the persona. But I don't think it would work if Stone Cold came in. I don't think it would work in today's time, because it's not like the immediate impact that the people on Twitter want. Apparently some of the guys in the back want, and what the mainstream companies want. They want this, give me this minute, quick payoff now so I can put money in my pocket, kind of a thing.
And that's a problem. There's where I started ranting about it, because I have the fortunate opportunity to work at these local shows that sometimes draw better than most. Like I've done shows in front of hundreds of people, and then I've done shows in front of 30. But it's always the concept of, I always get fans, or I always see in social media those people that are like, oh man, like yourself, I'm sure. Even I could agree. We could all agree we missed that era. right? We wish that was still around. We know it wouldn't work today because of social media and they can't, we live in that world where everything kind of tends to push it away, because, it's just too extreme, like too retro, or not too retro, but really just more too aggressive.
I just think everyone takes like WWE's lead, and now they're getting corporate bucks, and corporate bucks is like, you can't do this, that, and the other thing. It trickles down to everyone else, and to me, it makes kind of a stale product.
Yes, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. I think if we watch, like I watched WrestleMania, let's use that as an example, and I could watch it. I obviously wrestling's tarnished for me for the rest of my life since I was a kid because now I know the ins and outs of the business and experienced it. So when you watch, I see, with a very critical view. You know what I mean? Oh, that was happened. This happened. But there's times where I try my best to just watch it with an open mind and I kind of see like, oh man, that was really good. Like that dynamic, let's say triple threat, like Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan and of course Edge. People pander in that nostalgic throwback, like an Edge coming back in or that, because they want those guys. I feel there's still a need for that. There may not be a strong need, but if there's enough of that going up, bringing it back here and there, not the same usual Taker coming back for 13, another, we obviously ran him dry, and he's great for what he does, another Triple H match, but like an Edge coming back and doing something like that, it gives that mystique of like, wow, this is how wrestling used to be. And people tend to like, I want to see that again. And in our scene, in the independent world, where everything is straight artistic value here. You have as much free reign to kind of create yourself if you know how to do it with the right people and the right structure. You could start it from the ground up. It's just enough people. I tend to push for that. That's kind of like my own little battle cry in the scene where I show it in my matches. The people who I surround myself with do the same thing, and the more I continue to push it, more guys tend to see it.
Right. A quick question about WrestleMania. You watched both nights, or did you just watch one night?
I honestly watched very select few. I watched select matches. I breezed through some of them.
Okay, so did you happen to watch McIntyre and Lashley?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this is just my opinion. Again, I'm old school. I went to WrestleMania 2, slow burn storyline kind of thing. The rain delay, I thought, was going to do that match well, because if they had the rain delay and then they had the interview beforehand and they were getting in each other's face and they wanted to rip each other apart kind of a thing. Yeah. So, and then when they both get down to the ring, when the bell rang, I'm expecting these two hosses just to go at each other, flinging fists, getting that crowd pumped up. This is the first live match for WWE in front of a big crowd in a year. So why don't you just let these two hosses go out? And it was like a slow burn. I was kind of disappointed in that. And to me, that's part of the stale product. Did you feel like kind of the same way when you watched that?
Yeah, I did too. I didn't pay. I knew the concept of the match and the build up to it, but when I saw it, I was like, these are two guys in the prime of their life, right? And they're in the best shape of their life, and they're both competing for the biggest belt in the promotion, basically, the second biggest belt, or equally as Roman Reigns' title. But and they started having this match that was just lackluster. That, like you said, they should have just went at it. They should have just took it around. They should have done a lot of things. If I was the one agent in that match, and just not critical of them, but if I was the one calling that match, I would have had those guys, hey man, hot start, go into it, start beating the living out of each other, obviously play the dynamic like they did, eventually build into the wear down, where it starts, like you said, the waves, strong tidal wave in the beginning, bring it down low, and then another big high wave lower, and then right into the finish. And it was like, even from the beginning, the back and forth, like it was parts of that match where even like critical, like it was parts where McIntyre was trying to, get him in the submission move, which was kind of weird because, Lashley is the MMA guy, the collegiate wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the dynamic is gone. Like if Hogan's trying to put, somebody with Mac abilities in a ring into a lock, he just never looked good. I'm not saying he looked good for him. It's just the concept was, you're this big powerhouse babyface champion going against this, renewed heel, with MVP, and it's great. But the match just did not live up to the hype, obviously, and it was everywhere.
I think it picked up at the end. Like the beginning, though, I was like, "Oh, these two guys are going to come out. They're going to light this crowd on fire. You know, they're going to get everything pumped up and set the tone for the show." While the ending, I mean, I was actually happy with the booking at the ending of the match, but the ending it picked up. The match was actually decent itself. Just the beginning kind of got like, "Oh man, that's what they're doing," kind of a thing, like the normal big guy, slow burn kind of match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the match, yeah. If they would have started off, like you said, right off, guns blazing, throwing every hand and foot and everything in their on their
Like being
arsenal at each
stiff.
other. Yeah. I mean, go think about it. Well, what's more impressive than seeing two big Goliaths going at it? You know
Like-
what I mean? Like you want to see that. You know, that's the one thing I always loved about Brock. I'm not the biggest fan of Brock's matches, but I respect Brock because he comes in, man, he throws those guys around like nothing. And then he just, you know, and then he'll take a couple of things and then he'll just make the guys look great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's exactly what should have happened in that match, which is supposed to be the pace of the show, right? Like the first match is the
It
rapid
sets the tone for the whole night.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the match that really picked it up for me that whole show was the I think that was the same night that what's his name? Can't think of his name right now, but I think I'm mixing the nights. But there was it was Seth Rollins match.
Oh, Seth Rollins and Cesaro.
Seth Rollins and Cesaro. I thought that should have been the beginning of the match. That should have been opener. Because at least if you're gonna slow burn it, like you're gonna basically start off the match on the pace. That would have been the pace to start. You know.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And then
but now they have more story.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that you brought up Cesaro. He got a huge pop at WrestleMania. Everyone loves him. He's a darling on the internet. I love Cesaro. He's just a good worker. I watch his independent stuff on YouTube and whatnot. And the very next SmackDown, they're rushing it already. They're introducing him to Roman Reigns. I'm like, slow burn it, man. Let the crowd really get behind him, and then he can have that moment when in front of a live crowd, kind of a thing. Those are the things that, as a fan watching now, I've been watching it since WrestleMania 1. I actually watched WrestleMania 1, went to WrestleMania 2, that you kind of miss seeing. You know, like at the end of WrestleMania 4, when Savage won the title and Hogan was in the ring, you can tell this is going to be the main event of WrestleMania 5, and it's going to be a whole story for the whole year, kind of thing. That's missing now.
Yeah, it is, and you know what, and that also carries into my world, the independent world. You know, because a lot of guys, they see that and they think that's appropriate because they mimic what they see rather than stick with the formula that's put together. That's already designed over a course of generations. Obviously, wrestling has been, you know, forever. But that situation, like imagine if it was like a match where if Edge was in that match, or it was a Triple H Rock hot start show, they would have probably went at it guns blazing. You know, they would have been just back and forth.
Right.
And you know, but I think in that situation, it depends on like this, you know, like in that regard, with Cesaro being now catapulted to the top against, you know, Roman. You know, would have been, like you said, good to see him go against another big heel, you know, kind of transcend him up, and then like bam, like, you know, there you are, Roman and him, you know, especially right after Roman just beat Daniel and Edge, you know what I mean? I know the WrestleMania is meant to restart, like kind of like this chapter, next chapter, you know, but I don't know. You know, again, that's above my pay grade when it comes to that. But this is why I always feel like, you know, with the writers, that, again, a lot of writers are not necessarily wrestling-made writers. You know, it kind of dictates their tone. They're writing it like it's an episode rather than writing it as a wrestlers tend to, agents of those guys who are production, like Dusty Rhodes or Kevin Sullivan, or those kind of guys that used to run big shows. They knew that they were doing segments for months because they grew up like that. You know, if it was Steamboat versus Ric Flair, they did it in every town in the United States. The same match, you know. But it sold everywhere they went. And then TV, I think, is kind of transcended differently, you know. But again, over my pay grade when it comes to that.
Yeah, and social media too. You know, everyone has that phone out. You can't do that same match in house shows, you know, over and over and over again. Yeah,
you have to be creative. But this is why doing so much in your match that's not meaningful, like basically blowing your load, you know, the reference we like use your whole match, and then now you're empty, because then when you have to do the match again later, what buildup is it? It's like if I wrestled in one area in Tampa and I'm having a successful amount of matches for 3 months here against one guy, I'm gonna give you a good match, but I'm not gonna give you all of me. You know what I mean? This is why there's stipulations and there's gimmicks and stuff like that. But that final blow-off match is the end all be all. This is it. This is the
That's
final.
when you should tear the house down.
Hell yeah, and this is a formula that I've learned because I've been, from the veterans from days before me and the life storytellers of this business. I think people don't want to humble themselves in the business. They don't want to be those guys that say, I got to get all my stuff in because, they're not going to like me. They're not going to believe in me. But, I think it's obviously it's dollar signs and, and numbers here in the business. But if you could sell yourself, I mean, I'm my own product when I wrestle. So every wrestler that I talk to, you're your own product. How do you want to sell your product, to the crowd and to the people? Like you have to sell it. If I'm going to sell it to you, you're a fan of mine. I want to sell you me 100%. I want you to believe that no matter what, even though you're not stupid, the business is not real. But it's like we watched Marvel, we watched Endgame. We know that's not real, but we still loved it. Right, what I mean? Exactly. It was fantastic. It told a great story. We sat there the whole time watching it. This is the way I look at it. It's a monumental moment where you have to pick these times in the match or storyline, and you just share. And guys just want to just go so fast. It's like it pisses me off. So
yeah, I mean, if you blow your load too fast, your woman doesn't like it. Don't do it with your wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's understand. It's one of those things where it's a constant battle of telling guys, hey, this is what's going on, or being told this is what's going on. And then it also you're beating their head on the gravel and they're still not getting it. So again, they become complacent. And those are the people that I tend to stray away from. And those are the same people that put me in this position, which I can't lie. I thank them all because if it wasn't for them, I would not have this Grizzle rant right now. So
yeah, I mean, and you're building on your character. This is your character. This is this part of it, and they're fueling it, and you'll benefit from it. Of
course. And the piggyback on some of the video right now I'm watching on YouTube that you posted, the one that you just saw that everyone's watching, it was against a guy named Saeed Al-Sabah, and that gimmick match was basically set up. And this is about storytelling. It's about planning ahead of time. And really quickly, that match was a tone that was built over months, many conversations to discuss how do we get this over on a local crowd. And I mean, that place only drew, probably 100 people more, but on a weekly basis. But I knew this is the only exclusivity we have. So how do we make it to where it's Eddie and this guy, Saeed Al-Sabah, who's an amazing talent, one of my favorite wrestlers in the scene, period. And someone that people should watch and someone who should be signed. I say that humbly. But we told a story, and it was out of my norm to be in a position where I'm gonna let this guy, drive a little bit, see what he can do. And he drove masterfully. And that's one of the guys that I always say, emulate this person. This is the person you choose. So then social media doesn't control you. You control social media at least the best as you can when it comes to your product, which is you.
All right, we got less than a minute to go in this particular segment. What do you want to get into next? There are some comments in the chat. We can answer those when we get back, or is there another particular topic you want to get into? I know you're talking about paying your dues and controlling the crowd. Is that something you want to get into a little bit more?
Yeah, I would like to get into yes, I'd like to get into the dues, but also give opportunity to talk about, answering any questions after that if need be, so we could generate that. But I definitely want to answer questions. But yeah, paying dues is coming next.
All right, sounds good. This is Grizzled Rants with Eddie Torres. I'm Belly. April 29th here on Bulls Radio Lounge. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And stay tuned. We're going to answer some of your questions there.
nothing on a silver screen shining like her. We're brighter than the headlights blowing through stop signs. And if you're looking for a good time, baby, you can roll with me. We can take it to back streets. We'll be breaking in those back seats. There ain't a thing that we couldn't be. Maybe if you roll with me, I could be your teenage dream. You could be my shotgun rider. I don't want a one-nighter. Yeah, you're everything I want and need. Maybe you can roll with me. Maybe you can roll with me. Baby, you can roll with me to the beat of the gravel on a torn up street. There ain't no place that I'd rather be. Kicking pretty pink toes up on the dash. Leaning for another two, fogging up the glass. You'll be getting lost, counting lines. And I'll be getting lost, counting all the stars in your eyes. I'm on top of the world with you by my side. Baby, if you be my body, I can be your climb. We're brighter than the headlights blowing through stop signs. And if you're looking for a good time, baby, you can roll with me. We can take it to back streets. We'll be breaking in those back seats. There ain't a thing that we couldn't be. Maybe if you roll with me, I could be your teenage dream. You could be my shotgun rider. I don't want a one-nighter. Yeah, you're everything I want and need. Maybe you can roll with me. 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 Bama red 4Runner pulled into the party with a 38 sticker on the back windshield. Two-tone tank top slipping off her shoulder. Kind of girl once she steps out the world stands still. Ooh, I know where this is going. I already know it. She's somebody's problem, somebody's goodbye, somebody's last call number that they can't find, somebody's best day, somebody's worst night, somebody's reason for leaving on the porch slide. Think about them tan lines, and I'm thinking, damn, I'd love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. She's somebody's problem, and somebody's problem's about to be mine, about to be mine. Kind of girl, once you've had her, you can't stand to lose her. Kind of girl where your friends tell you don't F it up. Kind of girl that goes from trying to just get her number to sliding through the summer to talking about love. Ooh, I think I'm liking where it's going. I'd like to try me some of somebody's problem, somebody's goodbye, somebody's last call number that they can't find, somebody's best day, somebody's worst night, somebody's reason for leaving on the porch slide. Think about them tan lines, and I'm thinking, damn, I'd love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. She's somebody's problem, and somebody's problem's about to be mine, about to be mine. Oh, hey baby, don't just keep me wishing. Oh, let me get to fixing somebody's problem, somebody's goodbye, somebody's last call number that they can't find, somebody's best day, somebody's worst night, somebody's reason for leaving on the porch slide. Think about them tan lines, and I'm thinking, damn, I'd love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. She's somebody's problem, and somebody's problem's about to be mine, about to be mine, about to be mine, about to be mine. south, somewhere where the summer lasted all year round. Probably got a big old diamond on your hand right now, maybe a baby or a couple by now. Long driveway to a big white house. But I wonder when you're drinking if you find yourself thinking about that boy from East Tennessee. And I know we both knew better, but we still said forever. And that was 7 summers ago in Southern Comfort, were we dumb or just younger? Who knows? Back then you used to love the river and sipping on a sixer with me. Does it ever make you sad to know that was 7 summers ago? Yeah, I bet your daddy's so proud of how his little girl turned out. Think she dies a bullet of a good old boy like me. Cause I still go drinking, same friends on Friday. Bought a few acres, couple roads off the highway. Guess you never saw things my way anyway. But I wonder when you're drinking if you find yourself thinking about that boy from East Tennessee. And I know we both knew better, but we still said forever. And that was 7 summers ago in Southern Comfort, were we dumb or just younger? Who knows? Back then you used to love the river and sipping on a sixer with me. Does it ever make you sad to know that was 7 summers ago? 7 summers ago. 7 summers ago. Yeah, I wonder when you're drinking if you find yourself thinking about that boy from East.
Live on Grizzled Rants here on Bulls Radio Lounge. I am Belly. Before we get back into it, we want to let you know that you need to visit Keel Farms in Plant City. That's keelfarms.com. Get your eat, drink, shop, or event on at Keel Farms. Keel Farms exists to share their farm and grow family through remarkable products and experiences. There's a restaurant and a winery there. And if you go to keelfarms.com, you can save 20% today with code Mother's Day 21. And we're back here on Grizzled Rants. We were talking about lack of storytelling and slow burns and what it's like on the independent scene with the Authority, Eddie Torres. And what you got for this segment for us, Eddie?
Oh, we're gonna go right into it again. We're gonna talk about paying your dues. And yes, I think it's important that people need to understand that a lot of the problems are happening when you see people have these issues. As far as like, I think recently you see a lot of like talent getting, and I'm not gonna name names, but as far as WWE, AEW, you got guys getting, put in positions where they're getting let go because of their etiquette and things they do in the locker rooms, and that usually stems down from like your upbringing in the business, and what I do in this business is I try to push forward the thought process of when you do things, and as far as paying your dues, before I go any further, paying your dues is basically no different than earning your stripes in the military. Kind of working your way up the business, setting up rings, making sure that, you're there to help, production, you're willing to do certain jobs that are meaningful as far as like, security work, music work. When you're starting out in the business, you want to be a jack of all trades. You want to be someone that wears many hats.
Right.
You want to be that guy that shows up to the show and just expects a payday, expects to have it your way, and then just go out there and do what you want. And then on top of that, win, because that's important in this business, right? You got to win, even though it's predetermined. And that's the biggest issue that I want to address. And this is what I always constantly mention in my rants on Facebook. So if you have any questions, Belly, regarding what I'm meaning, go ahead and ask away.
Sure, man. So Quickly, paying your dues. Do a lot of the guys now that want that quick fix, do they take the time to set up the ring, learn the ins and outs, or they just want to go in there, do their thing, and go right to checking their phone to make sure that someone saw them or is liking whatever they're doing?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I mean, you know, and you're see, this is why it's important to have you as an impartial view, because you're not a wrestler, you're a fan. You're someone that sees it from the outside in, and you just nailed it on right there, right on his face. Because, and that's something that's always hard to teach these young guys, because they come in and they just pander to, the irrelevance of their quote unquote career when you're not really learning your due. I'll tell you this right now. Don't recall winning matches the first 4 years of my start from '01 to '04. I don't remember. I don't remember winning belts. The first belt I ever won was a belt given to me. I didn't care about those things. I cared about becoming a better performer, and B, climbing the ladder to be seen and be considered and work my way up to being whatever I want to be, a WWE wrestler, right?
Right.
So these guys, because of nowadays social media, and these guys and girls, because we're not leaving women out of it either, they tend to jump in and say these things like, why should I do that? Oh well, I shouldn't have to do that because this person, it's always excuses. It's kind of similar to them. I always feel like their work ethic in the wrestling business has to be foreshadowing the bullshit jobs they have at Walmart. You know what I mean? And that's just putting it in the strictest way possible. I think work ethic is important, and I can't expect everyone to have my work ethic, but if they tend to push themselves further and learn their craft, because this is a craft. I've always posted about master craftsmen. This is a craft. This is something we chose to do.
Right.
Carpenter or plumber or anyone, you pay us for a service. As independent professional wrestlers, we are contracted per show to perform in the entertainment avenue in front of a mass amount of people, or television, or whatever it is today. A lot of these guys come in, they get their new flashy gear because it's more available now than ever, and they go out there. I don't wear flashy gear. Like typically I wear what I wear, and I let my work showcase and tell who I am. If I'm the authority, I'm fucking authority. Period. I live it, I breathe it, I am it constantly. It may be egotistical, but in this world we live in my world, in the rest of the world, there's got to be someone that's going to lead the charge. So I force that on people and say, hey, it's not too much. And I'm not expecting them to be like litter hunters and pick up every bottle of water in the locker room, but there's proper etiquette and anything you do. I grew up in my whole life was baseball family. I grew up in team environments, baseball, football.
Right.
So if you work together, anything works. WWE has a team. Obviously, they're a billion-dollar company, but when they started, if you watch the story about WrestleMania 1, that was a bargain. He threw everything at this one show, and
Right.
it all, and it paid. No different than the NWA did, no different than AWA did, no different than obviously the CWF here in Florida, and the Grams and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone took an opportunity and they said, "This is what I believe in," and everyone that came after him, big stars. My trainer, Steve Kern, who was an agent, was a teacher, was a producer. He had and a very well-known and respected professional wrestler and an entity in the business. He had a lot of hats, and he's one of the most humblest men you ever talk to this day. And think about that. If that man could be that way, why can't a young kid, still shit in his heels, shouldn't be paying his dues? Because you're not that guy. I'm not that guy. Why are you that guy? That's always.
I think it goes back to the quick fix, like you said, they want to be flashy. When you said that, it kind of reminded me of the old movie White Men Can't Jump. They rather look good and lose than look bad and win.
Yes.
Kind of a thing. And then and about teamwork, like I'm even watching the clip on there now. A lot of people don't realize this. The two professionals wrestlers and the referee, they're all working as a team in that ring to bring you entertainment. And you can tell if someone quote unquote goes into business for themselves. It reflects on what you see as a fan.
Exactly. like in this clip right here, this clip is with a guy that I've known for years, one of my close friends, and one of my bitter rivals, Sideshow. And him and I have basically done this dance 1,000 times, but it doesn't mean we have to do the same dance. We change the tune, we change the moves, and
Right.
we go even much more aggressive, and but even at our phase of our lives, and we're in our late 30s and kind of into our 40s now, for us two, we still like to work. We still like to come in it with the perspective of, we still have something to prove to ourselves. I deal with guys in the locker room and I pay attention, and then they ask me a question, like, for instance, hey, did you see my match? What you thought? They want to hear what you want, them to hear. Like they want to hear what's best beneficial for them, not what's the truth. They want to hear, hey, that was a great spot. Oh, that insecurity was fantastic. When in reality, I'm the guy's like, man, your entrance walk was horrible, your lockup was terrible, and just nothing was believable. I didn't believe that you guys wanted to fight. You guys had issues. Like we go back to what we talked about on the first part of this before the break was, the thing with the
McIntyre,
real
Lashley.
yes, with Lashley and McIntyre. Like you knew you wanted to see these two guys go at it, and then they didn't go at it. You appreciate the match because they're still tremendous talents and professional wrestlers, but on this level where they're so raw and so open to mistakes and injuries, which is always high, the risk doesn't match the reward when your only risk you're taking is beneficial only to you. I'm only as good as the guy I'm in the ring, period.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So we're working it together. The ref is a team. The music guy is a team. The recorder, the promoter, booker, we're all a team. So paying your dues is a crucial part of becoming a better individual in the locker room, a leader too, someone that knows someone goes to you for something, that this is a guy who gets it done. I like to believe I'm that guy constantly. I emanate that because I've been forced in positions where I had to be that guy when others wasn't, And, and I'm privileged to be able to push, and that's not everybody. I'm not going to say everybody in the wrestling scene are like that. There's a lot of undiscovered talent that I know firsthand in my list that I always refer. These are the guys I told promoters you should use, and they always sleep on them. But then they'll use the guy that will go there and won't do anything that's best beneficial for that promotion or show, and then those are the guys they always have a bad taste. And what it really is, Billy, is the fact that we're in a position where if someone makes a mistake like that or someone causes drama or issues, then what does that do for all of us? Then we lose work, we lose money. We get paid for this, this is a path for us to make money also. So we lose that because people lose taste of like, oh, well, I don't want to work with that. I think this is how wrestling really is. And It's not. It comes down to the core of who you are. And it really starts off not just paying dues, there's other parts of it, which we'll get into in other shows, but that's really drops it to where it is today, where, hey, you ain't as good as you think you are. You're really shitty, but you could be better if you just did this. Because I was shitty when I started, and I'm my own worst critic. So if you ain't the real worst critic, and you believe your own hype, then it makes sense where you're at today.
Yeah, it just seems like from what I'm hearing that there's a lack of acceptance of constructive criticism.
Yes.
That we're all not great at everything. You're not great at certain styles of wrestling or whatnot. I'm not great at certain things. These new guys aren't going to be great at everything just getting into the ring. Why not take advantage of a veteran that is trying to give you tips to help you get better? And in the long term, if you work with that particular person down the line, you both are going to put on a better show for the person that's paying to watch that show that's being put on.
Correct.
Yeah. I just think a lot of people, like you said, believe their own hype. And I just think that's a common thing in 2021 now. Everyone's becoming more within their own self-interest, and they're more about the me, and we're losing the aspect of the we. And like you stated earlier, that the whole match, there's a whole team, the ring announcers, the announcers at the ring, if there's a manager, the wrestlers, the referee, that's a whole team working together to bring a solid, crisp, entertaining product to people that are paying good money to, watch you guys do what you do.
Yep, that's exactly it. I mean, and again, this is why it's good to have somebody with a perspective like that, who sees it the way I'm seeing it, and it cuts it down, because in my world and behind the curtain, there's so much happenings and things which is, used to be taboo, like don't ever break kayfabe. But I still believe in kayfabe, but there's aspects of kayfabe you can't obviously sell to the general public. Like I said earlier about, like I'll play my gimmick nonstop the moment I get to a show to the very end until I get home, it's just how it works. But guys tend to, like believability wise is gone. They do all these things and they don't work together to do it. And it's not about being, let's all band together and be friends. There's a lot of pandering just to get in bandwagoning, and everyone has a large sense of entitlement where they're just doing it for spots. There's guys who try to, like anything you do in life, any sport, anything, they're your friend today, but they'll turn your back on you tomorrow.
Right.
In this business, it's hard to not have a camaraderie with people. And if you don't like somebody, and there's times you don't like somebody, you have to work them, it's harder to work with that person. And even share a locker room with them. I think if like in any sporting, if Buccaneers didn't like a certain, if they couldn't get along with Antonio Brown, they wouldn't have him come back. They'll get rid of him.
Right.
Exactly. But they'll utilize him because they know that, he's a tough guy to work with, but he's there for business. And there's some people that rouse him and put him in. And I'm not gonna put myself in the Brady level, but if I gotta be a guy that has to say, hey man, cut the shit. We're here to work and work together, and that's it. And I do that, and that's what I put toward it, where it comes off as rants, but it's not rants. It's really strong, constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't.
People just can't handle it.
Yes, they can't. No, they can't. That's anything we do. I'm sure you could agree with a lot of people today, especially listening to shows before. You guys speak your mind. You have people like, oh, well, that's not right. We always live in a world where people are subjective to they're allowed to think what they want to believe. But I like to come off experience. So I'm not telling you something that's just my opinion. It's experience. It is my opinion, but it's strongly backed by a lot of scenarios that validates my reasons to say it, And it's not like one or two people. It's a community of guys like that throughout the states, So
yeah, I mean, if there's a guy that doesn't think his shit stinks, he's already, gave himself a ceiling. He can't break through in my opinion, again. He can't break through the ceiling. You think Steve Austin or The Rock or whomever your favorite is, you don't think they took constructive criticism at one point or another, then implemented it? If they had this attitude that you're talking about with some of these guys, they'd still be jobbing on Saturday night's main event or WWE or whatever, and would never have made the name that they made.
Yeah, 90% of them have never made it. And 90% of them would have never made it in that era. And coming from like everyone from the 90s were those people that I got to learn and work with. So when I came up, I'm sitting at 5'10", at that time 250 pounds. I'm going against guys 6'4", 6'5", 300 pounds muscle guys just throwing me around. But these were the ascent of that 90s era and the beginning of the Attitude Era, you know what I mean? Like that whole time frame. And so the mentality was still there. So I'm structured by that. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it, right? But that being said, this is not the way we're going to do it now. We're not going to do that now. We're going to do that, much later. We're going to teach each other how to do this, but they don't do like that. They tend to just go off and do their own thing and then complain when it doesn't work their way.
Right. And then what you're talking about remind me, I was actually talking about social media. I was scrolling through social media the other day, and the story you just gave reminded me of a quote that Randy Savage said to Shane Douglas about having a career. I believe it said something about, if you want to have a career, always thank the guy that puts you over, because he's the guy that's allowing you to have that career.
Yes.
And a lot of guys are already coming in here, from what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that they're already king shit already, and they know everything. And to me, that just shows a lack of respect to the people that did this business at a Hall of Fame top level before in the 80s, 90s. You're kind of like spitting in their face, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. That's exactly what they're doing. But that's also the complaint too. They don't care, and but I do. You know what I mean? I don't stick to the times. I try to, understand that we evolve. Everything evolves. But what they call evolution is not necessarily evolution. It's really just a deformity of what wrestling's supposed to be, in my opinion. And a lot of guys I know, it's a deformity, and this level. You know what I mean? And then when they see other guys up north, up in the higher promotions, certain people do certain things. They think they can make it bigger and better in this area, and then so they take advantage of that. And by saying, well, the Young Bucks are doing it, why can't I do it? Or Kenny Omega's doing it, why can't I do it? Because he's Kenny Omega.
Yeah, you're not Kenny Omega.
Yeah, you're not Kenny Omega. You didn't go to Japan and go here and there. You're not Randy Orton. You're not Cody Rhodes. You're not those guys. I'm not. I never wanted to be anyone but me. I've had aspirations and influences, but I never wanted to be anything but Eddie Torres. You know what I mean? I never want to be anything but me. And I think that's the problem. They want to recreate something that doesn't need to be recreated. No one's out there trying to change the business. You could flow with it, but you're not changing the business to where you think is the best. And again, this is where it goes off where I'm the bad guy, but I'm okay because there needs to be a bad guy, and I'm okay with being it.
You're right. There has to be that level. You got to have your good guys and your bad guys, and like you were saying earlier, everyone wants to kind of be both. They want to be, the one everyone cheers, but do the cool bad guy kind of thing, and make sure they have the big spot. Now, you say you like you keep in kayfabe and you keep in character from the time you get to a show to the time you leave the show. Does that get you some heat in the back where some guys don't know if you're being serious with the criticism or you're in character, and then it kind of like blows up a little bit? Or is there any instances of that?
No, not necessarily. They typically they just tend to just I tend to just be very straightforward with it. I tend to be very straightforward with it. So I tend to just go off about things and say, hey, this is what I don't think this should happen. This is the way it's going to be, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll tell me otherwise, they'll say, okay, well, they'll look at me right in my face and tell me, okay, this is not what's happening, and I'm like, okay, well, no, this is the way it's going to be. And then they won't say it to my face. And I'm not saying that to be a tough guy. They don't. That's not the era we live in. Before, I used to say, hey, I have a problem with the situation. This is what should we do? And then it was like, okay, well, tell me why, and you'll answer the question. Now it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. Then wait till later not to listen to your advice or follow a different direction or not even do the show. A lot of guys will complain and they'll go up in the ladder and say to the booker, promoter, hey, Eddie said this about me. I don't agree with him. I'm a strong believer that if you're in a locker room together, you're going to work it out together and you're going to handle it. You know what I mean? Tough love or not, you're going to handle it. Because I got plenty of stories where I had to be told straight, and there's other times where I had to tell someone straight, and sometimes you can get aggressive because that's the business we're in. It's very wrestling can be very competitive, and because it's not like we're winning and losing. We're competing for spots. We're competing for opportunity to showcase our skills. But again, if I'm in the locker room, my gimmick is, like I said, is a reflection of who I am. It just so happens I take it in front of a crowd and I go off about it and I say X, Y, and Z. And, and I change the tone of who I am because obviously I can't act the way I act and go around and get pulled over by a cop. Well, I'm the damn fucking authority. You can't give me a ticket.
Right. You know who I am?
Yeah, you don't know who I am? I say, yeah, I'm saying? I had a AEW dark match, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They don't care. You know what I mean? I get more, but the fact remains is like, okay, well, some guys take that and they walk around with this pretense that they're superstars, where the only way I ever thought I was ever a superstar would be if I was a contracted professional wrestler on live TV every week getting, that opportunity. Right. To me, I'm just a professional wrestler, still out here grinding and working and paying my dues, even in my time, and trying to earn it. So if I'm still doing it, why the hell are you not doing it?
Well, I mean, I think it's because they have that circle that, of friends or colleagues that, they like you were saying, pander to on their TikToks and social media that tell them they're great every fucking minute of every day. And as soon as someone comes in with some reality and said, yeah, you're good, but maybe you can improve on X, Y, and Z, they take it personally and they think you're trying to take their spot or you're trying to give them heat and try to break them down to bring yourself up, and you're just genuinely saying, no, you can improve on this and this will make you better down the road.
Yeah, exactly. That's just my view on that. As far as that goes, paying dues, it could be a conversation many times. It will be reflected on future conversations with us. Could be touched on, but that's my general idea on why paying dues is crucial to this day. And guys are up in arms against it because they don't think it's the right thing to do. They don't think they should do it anymore because I don't sign. I'm always a person that uses different weird analogies, but I like to use it as a reference. Like in my job, if I refuse to learn how to give proper patient care to a patient, because that's below me to do. Why the hell would I do that? I have to do my job, learn everything about my job, and push forward. And that's where I go with it.
Yeah, and then I mean, what the layman or the new person to wrestling may not realize is, your well-being is in these people's hands. Like a punch can break an orbital bone, if not done right, or you can get kicked in the nuts, or if they smack you with a chair, if they go a little bit too high, you're having an issue with your cervical spine, and you're just giving tips to have someone be better at their craft, and also in the long run possibly be safer depending on the whatever tips that you're giving them. Nope, I think we lost Eddie.
Did we lose? No. Yeah, we did lose Eddie.
Yeah, we did lose Eddie. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick little break here, and we're going to try to get Eddie back on the line. And I don't know if he heard what I said or not, but stay tuned. We'll be right back here on Bulls Radio Lounge with more of Eddie Torres and some Grizzled Rants.
I came to bring the pain, hardcore from the brain. Let's go inside my astral plane, find out my mental, based on instrumental records. Hey, so I can write monumental methods. I'm not the king, but this is decaf. I stick 'em for the cream. Check it, just how deep can get. Deep as the abyss, and brothers is mad fish, accept it. In your cross color, clothes you crossed over. Think I totally crossed out and crisscrossed. Who the boss? Get tossed to the side, and on the dark side of the force. Of course, it's the method. Man from the Wu-Tang clan, I be hectic and coming for the headpiece, protect it. Two tears in a bucket. You want the ruckus? Bustin' at me, bro. Now bust it. Styles like it's buck wow. Method man on pulling fouls. I'm sick, insane, crazy. Driving Miss Daisy out of fucking mind. Now I got mine, I'm swayed. Is it real, son? Is it really real, son? Let me know it's real, son. If it's really real. Something I can feel, son. Loaded up and kill. Blind, wanted your deal, son. If it's really real. When I was a little stereo, I listened to some champion. I always wonder when I will be the number one.
Bulls Radio Lounge. This is Bull, by the way. How are you? Great. I'm just want to let you know that we are on sort of a small break because Eddie lost his signal. So don't be alarmed. We'll be right back with more of Eddie's. It's Billy, are you there? You good?
Yeah, man.
All
I
right,
just
good.
couldn't hear you over the song. The song was piped up.
Is it really? Okay, I had it down too, man. The show's great. I like the show. Good job.
No, man. Appreciate it, man. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live. We're just in between breaks. So.
Okay, gotcha. We got the 8 minutes and 50 seconds before the end of the Zoom.
I wanted to talk about a little bit while we got a little time before Eddie comes back on. And basically, the next 2 Tuesdays, Mark will not be available for Mark and the Bartender. So if you or Matt want to join the shows for Tuesdays, that'd be awesome as well. That'll be 8:00 on Tuesdays for Bull and the Bartender show.
Yeah,
And
man.
then-
I'll speak with Madam Belly and see what I can do.
Yeah,
Since that
yeah.
that would be a third show in a week, and even though she probably
gonna be
enjoys the
happy.
quiet.
Yeah, I got you. But also, don't forget about Social Reload show at 9:30, and then at 8:00 is Gut Check Live with Belly right here on Bulls Radio Lounge. So, listen, I've been listening on to the show. It is phenomenal. Okay.
No, thanks, man.
I've been kind of letting you guys just roll with it, and then see how you go and see how you do. And you guys are just killing it. So
I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
yeah, I
good
can tell.
conversation.
I can tell. I mean, I don't. If you guys don't mind, I'll chime in from time to time. But I've been just kind of keeping quiet and let you guys roll. You know what I mean?
No, man. I mean, you got to ask the man himself. He's the one that could beat your ass.
Yeah, I mean he's a pretty big guy. I've seen him in person. So, but
Yeah. So, do we want to grab one more Zoom, have one more segment, or?
I mean it's 7 minutes. I mean till we go off officially. But I mean we can always go off now and then come back a little bit later and
Okay.
I mean it's up to you guys. I mean I'm cool with whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely shoot Eddie a message, see exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's the great show. It's Grizzled Rants. It's the debut pilot show here on Bulls Radio Lounge. We all do shows. We all sort of have our little days. So, thank you for joining the show. Please stay tuned. We're probably going to go into another small little break so we can reset and get back into the show once Eddie is able to log back in. But no, it's really good. I like it. It's very it has a little deep backstage feel of what's going on, behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
which is always cool because, I mean, as a fan, when I was younger, you always wondered how things went backstage because
Yeah.
you think these are superheroes and supervillains. And, as you get older, your thought processes evolve. And you see that just this business, just like any other business, you have people that are in it for themselves and you have people trying to keep them on the straight and narrow. Sometimes it's not appreciated. And sometimes you just got to rant about some bullshit that
Yeah,
you got to deal with
yeah.
at work.
Absolutely. I mean,
Everyone deals with bullshit at work,
I've always wondered, like, what like the rink. You know what I mean? I wonder if it's built the same way as a professional WWF rink, or is it just if it's slightly different, or if it's kind of put together with duct tape and string and hope for the best.
I think it's like we can always confirm with Eddie because he's worked with different promotions, but it has like the basic same setup, but different companies may have different, like, the wood or extra padding, or it's a little bit softer, it's a little bit harder, more spring, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, because I've one of my other family members was a wrestler, trying to be a wrestler at one point in time. I don't know why, but we went out, I think, one day and to the mat that they were practicing on, and by all means, it was a full size wrestling rink, but it was hard as hell. You know what I mean? You take a bump on that, and that hurts. You get up sore. I don't know if I'd want to do that day in and day out.
Right. I mean, running the ropes, it'll beat your ass.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But
I did
still,
it one time. Like,
yeah.
I ran the ropes one time, and I had bruises like on my back and ribs because it's rope that's wound really
See,
tight, and they wind it tight on the turnbuckles too. So
I always thought it was like a rubbery type of some sort of rubbery type of rope that made the bounce. When you go across from the ring to the other side of the ring.
Dude, that's just rope that's wound
That's
really
just
tight, and they put like a colored tape over it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was a rubberized, like a bungee type of cord, to where it's, it's, like I said, bounces you off from one side to another.
Right.
I mean, because that's,
I think.
what's that?
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I think Eddie's ready to go, so I don't know if you want to go to a quick commercial and then we'll have a new Zoom.
Let's see. All right, so let's do this. Since we only got 3 minutes, let's go to a quick break real quick, and I'll redo the Zoom, and we'll be back in a minute with more of Grizzled Rants. Don't go away. We'll be right back in a moment.
Soundtrack. Oh, I wanna be. Oh, I wanna be that song that gets you high, makes you dance, makes you fall. That melody, rewinds years, wants to disappear, makes time stall. Wanna be those words.
Once again, thank you for joining us on Bulls Radio Lounge. We'll be joining here with Belly and Eddie Torres for Griddle's Rants. Don't forget to check out every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Gut Check Live with Belly and Bull. Then at 9:30, you've got the Social Reload Show. Then on Tuesday nights, you have Bull and the Bartender Show on 8 o'clock p.m. Don't forget to go to Facebook.com. Just search Bulls Space Radio Lounge. We're trying real hard to get that going for different segments and shows. Also, when you go to YouTube.com, just search Bulls Radio Lounge, and you'll find us right there once you type that in the search bar. All our live shows, all our past shows, and much more, just like this one, Griddle's Rants. Always live. Once we get Eddie back on, we'll get him going, we'll get him live. Belly's about to join up with his satellite. Almost ready. Anticipation's killing me. Get this show rocking. Belly, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I got you, buddy. I was kind of monologuing for a little bit, kind of give you a good intro.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Eddie shot me a message saying that he's having some issues at the 25-foot bunker.
Oh.
And he may not be able to get connected again. So he apologizes wholeheartedly to the listeners and the fans that are listening. And he wanted to see if we can end it for the night because he's got to work on that issue.
Yeah, I mean, no worries. I mean, it's at least you can't blame it on Sonic. So.
No, this was not Sonic's fault this time. that will happen on Sunday.
Yeah, it only happens on Sundays and Tuesdays.
It happens Sundays at 8 p.m.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, what do you think? You know,
oh man,
we've got a little bit of time. I mean, what do you think?
I'm immensely enjoying it. It's
Yeah.
something. I mean, you know, I've watched it since I was a kid. You know, I mean, and you get to talk to a professional about it.
Yeah.
And you know, them validating what like some of the points that you're making, it makes you feel good. I'm not gonna lie. You know, and that's just what I see with my eyes as a fan.
Yeah.
And just to, you know, have these kind of conversations and get the background of what he sees compared to what I see. It's different and it's cool and it's a good conversation in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because there's a lot of things that I didn't know, especially in the underground world, because you always think, like, even with football players and baseball players, when they all like meet each other, like, what are they saying and stuff like that. And it's refreshing to see, like, you know, there's not really like that much real heat behind the scenes. You know, everybody takes care of everybody, you know. And, you know, I've always believed there is a hierarchy for wrestling, just like there's a hierarchy for anything else. But
Well, of course, man, you're gonna have like your, you know, top tier guys, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna have your, you know, mid tiers that thinks they are top tier.
could you
You
do
know?
it though? Could you wrestle? Could you you know, go through the ropes and go through the
Oh,
the
definitely not
challenges?
now after my surgery. I don't think that's happening anymore. I can barely lift up my kid.
Oh, really? Oh, man, that sucks.
But no, I mean, you know, that's something you always wanted to do
Yeah.
when you're a kid. And, you know, these guys, they make it look like it's easy. And I can sit there and say, it is not easy. I've been hit by a chair once by
Oh.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Really?
He actually,
Ah.
he gave me a chair shot in the back. And he said he gave it to me at like 15-20%.
Uh-huh.
And that shit hurt. It hurt, man.
Was that a metal chair or?
It was a metal chair.
Oh,
Like from metal
man.
chair from Walmart.
Oh,
And,
jeez.
Yeah.
How-
I
how
mean,
did
these
it- how
guys
did
gotta
it
be
feel?
in top physical shape to do what they do.
Yeah,
And
how-
women. And
yeah.
women too.
How did it feel?
It hurt, man. I
I'm
mean,
sure it did.
there's no other way to. It hurt.
I've been cracked over the head with one of those trash cans before, those metal
Right.
ones.
Yeah, the
Those-
metal trash.
Those things don't hurt that bad, but you feel it though. You know,
Oh yeah, man. I mean, you could. I mean, that's what I was talking. Eddie was talking about with constructive criticism and doing it stuff properly because you have safety in the hands.
yeah.
And, you know, he hit me in the spot that you're supposed to hit me where it won't injure me, but it still hurt me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you
Like-
can't really avoid being hurt. You know, if you're getting smacked with a 2x4, you know, you're gonna feel that.
Yeah, and then, you know, of course, I mean, I sold it because it actually hurt.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
when
Then you
when I
go,
went down on my knee, I was really
yeah.
in pain.
Then you go home and you go, oh, son of a bitch.
Then you get some ibuprofen and some ice, you know.
Yeah, take the whole bottle.
All right.
But no, I mean, it's turning out to be a very good show. I mean, I've been watching the viewer count, and it's been up to like 6, you know, for a live.
Oh, 6
views.
live.
Yeah. So, and then you know, I've been hopefully what I want to see is how the show goes afterwards. Like, how many viewers do we get after? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll get it shared, and you know.
And that's
post-
how we can do a litmus test of how things would run with us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
But it's a good show. I like it. It's very well done, and Eddie is very well versed and seems to be very well respected in the wrestling scene.
Yeah, and I do want to say thank you to Eddie for asking me to do this with him and to get my perspective on it. It's to get to be a fan and to, you know, watch it and, you know, not be. I'm not never been in the business or anything like that, but to have someone that's been in the business as long as he has to reach out to me and be like, hey man, I had a conversation with you. I'd like to do this with you. Are you willing to do it? I'm honored to have a 20-year vet in a craft that I've liked and loved since I was a kid to ask me to be a part of this venture with him that he's wanted to do. So I'm really honored. I do want to say thank you to Eddie for that.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Sure.
Well, I mean, you know, Eddie's shut up.
Thanks. No problem, Bull. Yeah.
Thanks for taking a shit in my cereal, dude.
I got you, buddy. Don't worry about it.
You know I appreciate you.
No, it's okay. I feel love. Got you.
I mean, if you want to do the show, you can do the show with Eddie.
No, I know. Trust me. It's cool like this. I enjoy. I enjoy. You know, chiming in every once in a while. I mean, and I probably feel free to do it, anytime. But I also enjoy doing the backstage stuff too. and kind of updating things and kind of getting things in motion and setting things up and just making sure and monitoring things and how things are going.
Right.
But you guys have been sort of collectively doing good on your own, without having me to mess up things. So, I mean, it's a good show. It's a good show. I like it. I think it's going to go.
Appreciate it,
I
man.
think it's going to go well. I think it's going to go good, and I think that with the collective knowledge of you two guys with wrestling, because I stopped at, I think it was, I want to say 2001,
Right.
with watching it. That was like the older guys, like Junkyard Dog, Roddy Piper, Undertaker, Mankind.
Oh, so you're talking way before 2001, like
yeah,
Junkyard Dog.
yeah, Junkyard Dog in the 80s.
Okay, you're talking about late
Yeah,
80s, early
late
90s.
80s and 90s, right? That's what I'm saying. I stopped watching it like in 2001,
I gotcha.
because I remember I think the last one I had was it was some sort of pay-per-view match, and we all got hot wings and stuff like that. And thank you, Chewy Rocks. The executive producer, by the way, her name is Chewy Rocks of the show. She corrected me and said, "Dumbass, you're saying the name wrong." So thank you. It's Grizzled Rants. That's what it's called, Grizzled Rants. Thank you for that. But no, I come from an age of way back when of Andre the Giant, like I said, Roddy Piper, Ultimate Warrior.
You're real old school then.
Well, the Undertaker with Paul Bear. You know
Right,
what I
that's
mean?
old school.
Yeah, the Bushwhackers, Legion of Doom. Who else was on there? Who was a Typhoon and Earthquake? Remember them?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, Triple H. Who else was there? This was even way back before Shane and his sister was even on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were kids, man.
Yeah.
The era you're talking about, they were kids.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luger.
Oh,
Lex
Luger.
Luthor
Oh,
fights
Luger.
Superman.
Luger. Yeah. I don't know why I had that messed up. Lex Luthor. But I remember him when he came in. I think it was him when he came in on the helicopter one time at WrestleMania. Remember that? He came in. Either was
Yeah, I think he did and then he went on the Navy ship and he body slammed Yokozuna or something like that.
yeah. That was the
Yeah.
first time anybody body slammed him.
That was a big boy too.
Oh man, that was a huge guy. Was he really like a what do you call those, the Japanese wrestling?
No. He was Samoan, man. He wasn't.
Oh,
even
he was
Japanese.
Samoan. Okay,
He was
all right.
Samoan. I think he's in the Rocks family. I think.
Is he
he's
really?
His extended family, yeah.
Because I had heard somewhere that he's like a chef now.
No, he's dead.
Oh, did he die? Okay, or maybe he was a chef or something like that.
He has passed.
Oh, okay. I know he broke his leg one time, or supposedly he broke his leg. They had to get him off with a forklift, off
Ooh.
the mat. Yokozuna.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that. But,
Yeah, well,
I'm getting old.
It might have been a work, but they took him off with a forklift. I know that.
No, okay, I got
Yeah.
you.
Papa Shango, remember him?
Yeah, man, he was the he turned into the Godfather with the hose and the hoe train.
Did he really?
Yeah, that was him.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even know that, man. That was
that's Papa Shango.
that was a great character.
Then that's something I won't get over now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
too politically incorrect.
It still was funny though.
I love it.
He'd come out and all the girls come out and he just just doing his thing like a big old pimp that he was. But I didn't know Papa Shango did that. I remember him coming out and shaking that stick, shaking that staff.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same guy, just a different character.
Gosh, boy, I didn't even know that. I didn't even
Yeah,
know
man.
that. I'm trying to think of somebody else that I might have known. Did you ever meet anybody in the wrestling world?
I mean, not like first name basis, but I've met some guys.
Yeah. Who did you meet? Was it somebody that was your like all-time favorite that you wanted to meet?
No, I mean I've met Ric Flair
Uh-huh.
at an autograph signing. It was kind of like just take your picture and kind of fuck off kind of
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yeah, I mean, you got some guys that were pretty cool. I'm trying to think of John Cena was there. He was actually, well, he's the face of the corporate guy, so he's gonna be nice to every fan that comes in there during like an event.
Well, of course, yeah.
Because he's Mr. WWE. Um, I've met like a Manu. He's also, I believe, related to Yokozuna and Rock.
Manu?
He's in that family. His name is Manu in
Manu,
WWE.
okay. All right.
Teddy Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I actually met these guys at the Dallas Bowl. They had like a little wrestling event at the Dallas Bowl, like at least 12 years ago.
How do you do that at the Dallas Bowl?
I've
never been in there, but I mean, how do you fit like a wrestling?
I mean,
ring
I've never
with
been in there. I was never in there like to go drinking or have a night out. I just went here for that, so I don't know how the setup is normally.
Yeah.
But there's 2 floors to it.
Oh.
So like I guess it's the middle of the dance floor. They had the ring in there. It's not like a long entrance ramp or anything. It's
Right.
like a quick jump and a skip from wherever the guys are in the back to the ring.
Coming from
kind
the
of-
restroom.
Yeah, it's not like
Out to the
these
ring.
elaborate WrestleMania entrances with
Man.
fireworks.
That'd be cool, man, if Eddie had a card in WrestleMania, you know.
Oh, that'd be really cool, man.
Yeah, I bet you he had a heart attack. He'd probably feel the same way as Big Nasty felt when he got tickets to go see the Super Bowl for the Buccaneers, you know. when they
Oh,
came.
that's your hometown team, though.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
still the same. The feeling's the same. He gets a card to go be in WrestleMania. You know what I mean? And
Oh
one
yeah,
of the
to walk down.
matches.
I mean, I can't speak for Eddie at all, but I mean to be able to sit there and have entrance music and to walk that ramp at WrestleMania, that's what every kid grows like that wants to be a wrestler wants to do. Yeah,
Right.
wrestle at WrestleMania.
And then if he did it like in Tampa, that'd be just icing on the cake right there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean it's evolved since I stopped watching it, and it's kind of got too commercialized, I think, and too.
Well, I mean, like with most everything, once big money, like, well, I won't say for indies because Eddie's
Right.
in the indies and whatnot, but you got your mainstream ones, WWE and AEW, especially WWE. They got big corporate money in it now, so of course that changes everything. Like it changes everything else in this world.
Well, I mean that too.
Once
and then-
corporate money gets into it.
and there's more people and there's more drama, and it's like go back to where you were doing wrestling back in the 90s, where you come out, you say a little monologue, other guy comes out really pissed, comes screaming down the ramp, you know what I mean? They
Yeah, and I
start-
think that's what Eddie's trying to get at. Like he's keeping that old school mentality for these younger
bucks.
guys and girls coming into the business.
greenhorns is what they call them.
Yeah, I think he was calling them all kids or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you gotta have that old. You always gotta have that one old school guy that keeps it real, and it's like this is the proper way to do it and give people perspective. And I think people just don't want to take, like Eddie's point, constructive criticism anymore, just in general, not just in this business, just in general. And you see, everyday situations that you might go through, I might go through, whoever's listening might go through. It bleeds into other crafts and other industries too. So
The craft. That's,
yeah, man.
I've heard that, and no offense to Eddie or anybody else, but to me the craft it just doesn't ring my bell. You know what I mean? Just the word.
What do you mean?
Just the word, the craft. Because a lot of movie guys, they say the same thing with the craft. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they call it the craft, and to me it's I don't know. I don't know
Are you
why.
anti that word?
No, I don't know why it doesn't tickle my fancy. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It just, to me, when I hear people use the craft, it kind of sounds like nails on a chalkboard.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just, to me, when actors or people say this is my craft, it's like it's not a craft. It's, I don't know.
Oh,
to
it
me-
is. It takes a certain
Yeah, well, to some
requirement of
people it
skill.
might, but I don't know. To me, it's like it's an art form. It's you're portraying.
Well, it is. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're portraying, a different realm of characterization. I don't know. I don't know why it does that. Just when I hear that word, it's like ooh, nails on a chalkboard.
Okay.
So it's weird, yeah. But like I said, every Thursday night, 8:00, if that's good for you.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Yeah.
this is I committed to Eddie. I will do this every Thursday at 8. So I will be here every Thursday at 8 as
Grizzled
long as you
Rants.
and Eddie want me to be. You guys tell me to fuck off, I will kindly fuck off.
No, we won't want you to fuck off. Let's see. Juan Hernandez writes, so it's hard to see this small little letter. Devolved, not involved.
Evolved. It's devolved, not evolved in the mainstream. Yeah, I agree. It's that quick fix TikTok age where you gotta get that pop or bust that nut in a minute, in less than a minute.
Yeah, and you always got to be over the top with everything, especially with being on video. You know, would you be comfortable, like, if you got in a ring with one of these guys? Would you be comfortable being on camera?
I couldn't do it now because
No, but I mean, if you could.
I mean, if I could, not in the shape I'm in.
Okay.
I would look like a flabby fuck stain or whatever. That would be my wrestling nickname. Now the flabby fuck stain.
Now the flabby fuck stain coming down the ramp.
No, I mean, I would take a bump just to say I took a bump.
Yeah. Would you want to get enough? Like, how much would you want to get paid to actually be like 5 minutes in the ring with Eddie or somebody else? Probably
Whatever
Eddie.
whatever the rate is for a Johnny Blow Me that doesn't know what they're doing. I'm not going to demand something on something I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
I mean, I wonder if we could do that as like a little contest, to where, Eddie's in the ring and then you like put up a little donation for like a charitable, organization, right?
I still think we should do the chops.
Or the chops. Yeah, we could do that too.
I'm not doing it, but someone can.
If people want to take chops, or, if we want to go to like a place that houses the arena, we get people who want to like enter the ring with Eddie, you know what I mean? I mean, we'll have to make sure that, people are sort of, searched. I mean, there's no knives or nothing like that, you know what I mean? And make sure they sign, waivers and consent forms. But nevertheless, they pay like a, 40, 50, 60, however much we decide. And then that would go to like, a charitable organization, you know what I mean? Like, to raise money for them,
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Like if we hooked up with a local Tampa organization.
Yeah, we could just
raise
like
money.
go live, at an event, or the rink, wherever it's at. And then we can, just talk about it, talk about the rink, watch the matches, whoever wants to come out there and wrestle with Eddie. And that's if Eddie wants to do it too. He's got
Yeah, I mean, there's some liability. He's not going to have like a full match with somebody. He could fucking end up breaking someone's neck.
I could probably be his PR guy. Be like, look, Eddie, man, this is a charitable thing. Look good for you. It'll put you over really well, I think you ought to do it,
I mean, that's a conversation for you guys, I guess.
I think I'd be a good PR guy.
I'm looking at his photo right now, staring back at me on the YouTube screen. It's like if he says no, it's gonna be okay.
Come on, put your big boy pants on.
You can go ahead and do that shit.
Listen, I've met him in person. I've had my big boy pants on with him.
Yeah,
So
you can take that hit. I got kids.
It's not that bad. It doesn't hurt.
Hey,
that
Madam
bad.
Belly May, like, oh, you got that good life insurance.
She's like, yeah, all right, cool. How much do I get now?
Oh, hold on. Go ahead. Give him another chair.
What's that?
Madam Belly be like, yeah, go ahead. Give him another chair. Let her hit him again.
That's what I'm saying. She's probably checking to see how much it's worth.
Yeah, she's checking it right now as we speak.
That's why she can sit there and go, hey, all right, cool. I get another, $100,000, dollars. That'd be nice.
So, yeah, sign him up.
Sign him up. Let's go.
Put him through that table.
All right,
off
yeah.
the top of that cage.
All right, so for $200,000 for life insurance for Belly, he'll go through the table, the chair, and something else.
Are you negotiating for me now?
Yeah, I'm your PR guy. And then maybe get like a
You're
Rikishi,
fired.
and maybe get like a Rikishi, back end deal.
Ooh.
What's it called? The Rikishi stinker?
The stink face or whatever?
Yeah, stink face or whatever.
I mean, I'm not going to incriminate myself with certain things, but that's not an ass I would want in my face. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I mean, for charitable reasons, I mean, and then for Madam Belly to be able to cash in that 200,000 life insurance policy that you have, you know, she's all for it. She says, "Go for
I'm
it."
sure she would be. You going to pay my pink eye bill?
You're worried about pink eye.
Okay, pink eye. Get some conjunctivitis.
She's like, "All right, well, $200,000. Let's say that's a good trip to Italy. Of course, you got to pay for the casket too. Maybe I can order it from Walmart or something like that. Maybe they have it on Walmart.com." And then they come back and just sort of enjoy the time and just put the kids through college and stuff like that. All to raise money for a charitable organization for Eddie Torres from Grizzled Rants to put Belly through a table, a chair, and do the Rikishi stink eye.
Oh, I don't know if he's still listening, though, but I did want to get to Juan Hernandez. He was talking earlier about Brock Lesnar. He doesn't think he's seen a match where Brock made someone look great. Brock, before he came back, like at WrestleMania 19 with Kurt Angle and stuff, he put on some damn good matches. He even like with Seth Rollins and stuff, he still made him.
I always liked
look good.
Brock Lesnar. He was a good guy,
I mean, he's an excellent athlete, a top-notch athlete.
Big guy too, huge.
Dude, monster.
Gosh, I mean, he looks like a tree trunk on steroids.
Yeah, I was watching WrestleMania when it was here in Tampa. Like my dad came over and he was just sitting down, and the match that Eddie and I were talking about, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. I don't know if you've ever seen either one of these men.
No,
but like Drew McIntyre is like 6'7", 265 of solid muscle. Lashley's maybe 6'5" and 280 of solid muscle. These guys were standing in a ring. My dad's like maybe like a $175 soaking wet. He's like, look at the size of these motherfuckers.
I see. That's the problem, is that I haven't seen these guys in wrestling in so long that I don't know who these people are. I couldn't tell you who the new guys are and how much was the the WrestleMania to rent it?
I got Peacock, so I got it for. I got it with my Peacock service. So
your Peacock service?
Yeah, that's NBC. NBC. The Peacock.
I didn't know that was a service.
Oh yeah, it's relatively new.
Okay, so is that like a streaming type service?
Yeah, it's like Netflix and Hulu.
Oh, okay. So it'll do so you get like the WrestleMania for free?
Yeah, it's included with my $5 a month subscription.
No, I didn't know that. Was it the whole WWE stuff for free, or just the? No,
everything. Like they have like NBC shows. They have movies. Like The Office that we were talking about the other day, and all their different shows on NBC. And then WWE's included because they went into like a deal together, a TV deal.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. That's cool.
Like $1 billion, dude.
Really?
$1 billion deal. Yeah.
How do you scratch that check off?
I don't know, bro.
Do you $1 billion? 00000. Here you go, buddy. Go cash it in.
Yeah, I think it's over like a certain number of years, but like I think the total, I could be totally wrong, but I think the total thing is like $1 billion.
Gosh, man, that's $1 billion. That somebody's got $1 billion to scratch off to somebody else because they sold. Imagine if you had in your bank account $1 billion.
I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't either. I'd be like, hey, deuces, buddy, I'm out.
I'd be watching some sunset in some island or some shit.
Sure, I'd be traveling the world, man. Going, all online, everything,
Yeah.
And then just travel, just see the countryside. $1 billion in your bank account. Wow. I mean, not to say that money is like everything, but still. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Man.
I mean, so I think it's a good idea if we can do that to where we get Eddie to see if he has some of his buddies like have a rink available, and then we could do like a charitable event to where we go out there live and broadcast live from out there, or at least record it, and then
Maybe next week we can bring it up and see what he says.
Yeah, and then sort of have like a charitable thing to where people can give, 15, 20, 30, 40 bucks, to get in the ring for like 5 minutes, right? Maybe.
I mean, I think you'd have to do a little bit of or just at least take a chop or something. I don't know, because maybe you might need like
5 minutes
waivers
might
and
be.
stuff.
Well, you still gotta have waivers for a chop, anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
But still,
you don't
5
want
minutes
some
might be a little bit more.
guy trying to live out his dream, 44 years old, gets blown up, 2.5 minutes, ends up having a heart attack.
I'm like, well, guys, well, what do we do?
What do we do?
Well, I mean, Eddie, you're the paramedic. I mean, what's your best?
Yeah, we do have a paramedic on site.
I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, I know CPR, but in this day and age, if you try to do CPR, you might get in trouble for that too. But I'll leave it up to Eddie. See what he wants to do if we have that problem. That way he has the authority to
He is the authority.
to call it as it is. So if we lose the person, then there you go. He's the authority, and he'll get it straight. So yeah, we'll talk about it. See what happens. So
Yeah, man.
so you like the show? You're good with the show? I mean,
Yeah, man. I'm really, really happy. It's a topic that I'm passionate about, and I'm getting older, so it's not like you can talk about it with any old person.
Right.
It's a guilty pleasure. Everyone has their guilty pleasures. Mine happens to be I still watch wrestling every once in a while.
I might
because it's something I grew up with.
Yeah, I might have some old WWF like cards that are sealed, on one of my shelves, in the garage. In the other warehouse on the other side of the what would you say? Would you say lot?
Your compound,
bunker, the elevated rooftop that goes up and down with an armed bunkery. So, anyways, it's like a truck that's a WWF truck, and has a one of the actor or one of the people that are on there, and then the other one's like a gold, I think, card or something like that with the wrestling. So I have to send you a picture of it, see if you want it.
No, man, I'm not gonna take it from you. Keep that shit, man.
But I don't. What do I need it for?
Or if we get someone, maybe we could do as part of the
giveaway?
charity thing a raffle.
A raffle, okay, yeah. If you want to, I'll take a picture of them and post them up on the Facebook page, Bull Space Radio Lounge. And if you want to have like some sort of giveaway or raffle, we can do that. We'll just have to figure out what we're going to do with that.
Yeah,
and
that'd
then
be
maybe
cool.
next week we can, have the first caller to, or
Maybe another bit if Eddie's cool with it. If we get start getting callers in, like a trivia thing, them versus me, a fan versus fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they beat me, they win the prize.
Yeah. And that way, we'll send out the stuff, the little WWF merchandise. That way you can have it.
Well, autographed pictures of Eddie, or maybe, I mean, again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse or anything like that, but maybe like if he gets access to one of his shows, a couple of tickets to one of his shows or something like that. We can talk about it with Eddie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just let me know.
Yeah, man.
That way we can plan it out. You know what I mean? And start promoting it. All right, so I think we're pretty good. Belly, thank you so much for doing this with me. Eddie will be back again soon.
No problem. I do want to go ahead and, if you want to follow Eddie on Twitter, it's at Eddie Taurus. That's at EDDIETOURUS. He also has a Facebook page, The Authority Eddie Taurus. That is on Facebook. And again, to remind everyone, Bull and the Bartender Show, the next 2 weeks, you said, is not going to be.
Yeah, Mark is taking a 2-week vacay.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to do that. You got to clear your head. So he's going to go clear his head up in the mountains. So if you and Matt would like to join, that'd be phenomenal as well. And then that's 8 o'clock on Tuesday.
8 o'clock on Tuesdays, Bull and the Bartender Show.
That's
and
right.
on Sundays, we got 8 p.m. We got Gut Check Live with me, Belly, and Bull. And then at 9:30, Matt the Savior jumps on for the Social Reload Show.
That's right. There you go. Man, you're getting good at this, bud.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So good intro too. Just
Yeah, appreciate that.
just a little more pep in the, like you just drank a Monster and you'll be golden. You know what I mean?
I'm not like that, bro.
Huh?
Sunday.
Huh?
You want me to have more pep?
Well, no, not like, I'm not talking about like, monster truck type pep. I'm talking about like, just a.
It's not like I'm sitting there going, on Tuesday.
No, absolutely not. That's what I'm saying. You're doing a good job. I'm just, one more notch and you'll be good. You'll be right
so
there.
Just,
Huh?
All right. Like right before you stick it in kind of notch? Like, oh, this is going to happen? Okay.
Yeah, just kind of feel it out. You know what I mean? Feel
I
the
can
music.
mentally get there if you need me to.
No, listen, you're doing.
I'm there. I'm there.
Oh, jeez, wow, easy, buddy, easy. No, but you're doing a great job, and you two guys are flowing very well with each other, so it's very good. All right, so I have Bull. We'll see you next. Tuesday. No, Sunday. Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Sunday. Yeah.
Gut Check Live only on Bull's Radio Lounge. Thank you so much, Belly, for joining us and doing this on this pilot show. And thank you to Eddie Torres as well, the Authority. He'll be back next Thursday, 8 o'clock, right here as well. Grizzled Rants is the show. Please join. It's a phenomenal show. You can always check it out on the replay as well. Just go to youtube.com. Just search Bulls Radio Lounge, and you'll see it there as well. All right, let's get out of here. We're all good to go. We'll see you next Sunday. Only on Bulls Radio Lounge.